Not quite able to capitalize. Gets a little bit stuck on some of the items. On the objects, rather. Obstacles. You know, he does have a pretty good 3-gen over there.
I see 2. Where's the third?
It's to the right of that one. Yeah, there he goes. There we go. Thank you for turning, Blight. Appreciate it.
Good. It's wonderful. I honestly think that they should probably strategize for a hatch escape if they want to salvage whatever they've got. They aren't taking the time to heal each other. They're not really taking the time to extend chase as much as possible, especially with that dead hard save earlier. Right. It just doesn't seem like these survivors were prepared for what was to come.
Ooh. That was actually a pretty good juke until that moment just happened. Not quite able to work, though. He is going to go for the 4-man slug, unfortunately, as well. I really am disappointed that they have not taken the time to heal. He even has a full med kit that he could be using to heal up. I know that you don't want to heal yourself, ideally, but, I mean, at this point, why not?
Wait, with the styptic, can't it? Doesn't it remove doesn't it remove enough stacks that you can't fully heal yourself with that med kit? And that's game right there.
Yeah, that's
game. Don't even
He's
have
done.
to see how this goes. It's over. Ace did a good job juking before a round, but I don't think he has this.
Ooh, that was pretty good though.
Was beautiful.
That was really well done. He didn't even need to drop the pallet. Very well played. And a nice slow vault, but it's enough to get away from the Blight, just barely getting out of sight. And then he's kind of all over the place.
This could be it. You might want to go save your ally while you can. Get 2 people up.
Yes. Ace is doing exactly what I would expect to see, which is when you're kind of being chased like that, just don't be predictable. Don't run in straight lines like you were saying. Exactly. And just go this way, go that way. Make it confusing, but try to keep to safe areas. And that's exactly what he did. And he got away from the chase. Really well done. However, he's back in chase again.
Chase back up. I'm not sure why he didn't go for Kate. Maybe it was too obvious. Seems that Blight's having a rough time getting around these objects. And that's what it's all about. You've just got to confuse the killer, and he can run in straight lines. He can curve just a little, but it's not going to be a 180 turn from the hillbilly, for example. So now he's going to bounce back inwards and turn just a bit to get you.
If there was ever a time, I mean, look at that. Styptic agent and a full med kit. If there was ever a time to do something, that would have been it.
That was it.
And unfortunately, dead on hook as well. I guess Kate's just kind of hoping that Blight doesn't find her. I don't really know. Unless she has adrenaline, she's done for. I heard the hatch opened right by him. I heard that.
Over.
And he knows exactly where she is. He's not struggling at all. He's got this in the bag. 12-hook game by FPS. Fantastic.
Showing pure dominance in this one. Yeah. I really hoped a bit more from the survivors themselves. Not saying the Blight didn't do good. The Blight got some very good around the corner hits, was on point with a lot of his dashes, but there were also a lot of times the survivors could have avoided the hit. There was a lot of times that they made questionable decisions. And, if you're going to be chased, you have to be worth your salt, and you have to be able to extend that chase as long as possible, which that was not the case with half of these chases.
And the build we saw was Pop Goes the Weasel, Mindbreaker, Corrupt Intervention, and Thrilling Tremors, which I haven't seen Thrilling Tremors used a lot, but it's a pretty good tracking perk. Decent.
So with this build, it's a lot better in terms of how it uses its regression. It's not 4 perks for regression. It's 1 that can be used consistently. Pop Goes the Weasel. Perfect. And then it synergizes well with Mindbreaker, and it's synergizing well with Corrupt Intervention and Thrilling Tremors. That's what I meant to call it. And with that, you're able to not only find the generators that need to be hit, but you're able to find survivors as well. So he's not just focused on the regression. He has regression in his build, but he's also utilizing a tracking so he can find his opponents and then obliterate them, which they were not ready for.
Yes, and he did a really good job, and we're going to take a quick look at this post-game review and be right back with some highlights. Stay tuned. Okay, folks, we've been watching Week 4 matchups, conference rivals Siphon versus Flops. And Flops is dominating the show today, keeping it down. That score is amazing so far. Let's see. We saw 4 gens get done this round. Not quite enough for it, but a 0 escape too. Not even able to get hatch at the end, unfortunately. And 12 hooks. Phenomenal showing by this killer with an absolute dominating 4K. Well played by Flops. And that's going to have Flops, of course, leading 31-9, going into trial number 4 as well. They're going to be leading for the full score. That's a massive score they have right now as we look at the final score, as we're sitting at the current score. Sorry. Here today's show, I'm having a great time. Siphon is really struggling, though. Flops is doing a fantastic job in this week for a matchup with these conference rivals. Yeah, I had to say all of it because Sam would have killed me otherwise. Anyway, we are here. We're getting in right now. It's loading in. We're almost in. And we're just waiting on the game to give us the go-ahead. But what killer would you bring on a map like this, Tide? Because they brought a doctor. Doctor. Give me the news.
Well, so Doctor's not a high tier killer in my books. Never has been. He's been the killer that you run to learn to track, and that's it. And his add-ons can be good, and there's the impossible skill check build and whatnot. But as a survivor, impossible skill checks should be extremely easy for you. And then calling out the Doctor's Shock so you don't get caught out and your loop denied is a play on you as a survivor. So I expect this to go down worse than Spirit. If he gets more kills than the Spirit, I question why they picked Spirit in the first place.
Well, I don't know, because, I mean, already we know that Doctor is an anti-loop killer. I mean, that's obvious. He's just anti-loop. That's what he does. And you're right, he's not a super strong killer. But these survivors struggled against Blight, and I don't know if they're going to do that well. They already got 2 hits done, and maybe they'll get a couple downs here in a second. We'll see. They already have almost finished a gen as well, and Fang, I think, is getting screamed at. Yeah, she keeps getting electrocuted and does go down, unfortunately, not able to get to the window. 1 gen finishing as well. Yes.
She got shocked while running to that window, so she wasn't able to jump through, which I'm kind of curious what the wait for that was.
That is unfortunate. But it's just how it goes sometimes. And Doctor is retargeting over to Nancy, who is working her way into the coal tower, while Ace finishes his generator. 2 generators done, 3 remaining. These survivors are now doing a little better than they were last game. I think that's not too shabby. None too shabby. Dropping that pallet really early. took before the first gen even pops.
Make you wanna call my name.
Trying to bait out a hit there, but not able to get it. Ricky's AT able to get away. That was a missed decisive strike. And that is an insta-down.
Wing it.
Do it live. We'll do it live. It's fine. How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Vigo's Court. I'm your Judge Little Rugard, and with me today is Counselor Poggy and Judge. I do not know what's going on here, but oh, there I am. Thank goodness. I thought I was gone for a second. I know you missed me. Anyway, and we've got a doc. Wait, is that a doctor looking? Is that the doctor looking at us? Oh goodness, he's so creepy. Doctor, get out of here. Anyway.
I was going to say, give me that Blight costume when he's got like 4 eyeballs.
Oh, the blighted, the hallowed blight.
Hallowed Blight. It's good stuff.
Dude, that is my favorite blight skin. I was so excited when they came out because I didn't know what blight skin. I didn't like any of the blight skin. And the fact that they came out, I'm like, yes, this is what I wanted. This is what I needed. I was very, very happy with that. Also, for those of you who might be confused, it's not actually Siphon versus Flops. That was last game. We got a different matchup for you. We're just working on it behind the scenes. It'll be fine. We promise. Nothing is on fire. Everything is fine. Trust me. But yeah, anyway, so do we ever figure out what's new with cosmetic? Because I know we talked about the Devil Deathslinger, and we talked about the whatever you want to call Demogorgon.
So who's fighting for shirtless? Who's fighting for shirtless Myers?
Oh my goodness, I want shirtless Myers so bad. Oh man, but the problem is, like, it's the same thing with Haddonfield. Any kind of DLC in that intellectual property is going to be headache because they're less agreeable. They come out with Stranger Things all the time because Stranger Things is relatively newer, and they realize that it's they coexist. They both benefit greatly from, having extra stuff. Whereas, who owns the rights to Halloween? I don't know. But
they got the rights to it. They've got hold of
every time you do an update, you have to re-get the permission, and usually it's like
permission, yeah.
Money.
But giving the license is, well, not always. You don't always pay up front. Sometimes you pay a royalty instead. Like depending on how much income you get from the cosmetic, you pay for it, which I believe is what they're running because the way that, like for example, Smite runs you buy a $30 pack, you have every character in the game. So they make sure that the licensed characters that enter that game are all just skins. And they don't allow those skins to at all be free because the way they typically do it is they pay up a royalty after buying the licenses as well.
So what you're saying is there's absolutely no reason for Haddonfield existing in its current form still. The devs are just lazy.
They could change it, but it does need approval. But they got approval for change to add Old Lori and Patient Myers, so...
True, but that's like the only thing they've done. And during that time, I don't know. I digress. Anyway, Poggy, please give us the docket. I think we're ready to move on. I think that's the survivors in the lobby. Let's get the show on the road, shall we? Today, in Week 4 Matchups Conference Rivals, we have Death by Pallets, home team, versus Port Mafia. And we're going to go head-to-head on... Groaning Storehouse with 156 square tiles, 9,984 meters squared, 7 hooks minimum, 12 hooks max with 1 permagen. I'm actually failing to... Is that the one we talked about in the center? I think this was the one we talked about, that there's supposed to be a permagen in the center. I can say with 100% certainty that is not a permagen. I have seen that not spawn there. That permagen does not exist in that storehouse sometimes. I don't know why. It
might be like at one point before an update. I think it used to be always there. And it may be a recent change.
Well, they did do a graphical update on that map, so that might have been
probably changed it up.
Yeah, because they added that breakable door and everything. Because yeah, like I know that was a permagen before, but I swear I've had some games where that was not the case. And so yeah, I can say.
Can I say that this map choice is solid? It's a fantastic map strategically, and if you hold your generators properly, it's a beautiful map. It's got crazy setups.
See, that's the thing, is my killer inside is crying when you say that, because I hate this map as a killer. I hate it. You've got 2 gens way far off down these single like lines of sight, and occasionally you even have a second gen somewhere on there. And then, like, yeah, like all the survivors have to do is there's 2 gens in the center to finish, and then it's so spread out. It's just like, okay, well, I guess I'm done. Thanks. There's no good 3-gen I ever find. I can't find a good 3-gen on that map to save my life. Yeah, it's definitely good for survivors, though. And you've always got that center building is a looping nightmare. I hate the looping inside that building, but...
Old Groaning Storehouse used to be a nightmare, but they definitely removed a lot of pallets out of there, and especially with the breakable door on the wall, once you got that open, that window is no longer a problem, and it's actually typically always going to lead into a follow-up hit, because it puts a survivor in a bad situation of having to jump back and forth.
True. They still haven't fixed the issue with tiling, though, because you can... there's videos of this still. There are pallets back-to-back in some of the outer areas around that, which is just...
So the way that the pallets work is there's a minimum amount
there's
of
a quota, right?
Yeah. And so if that's not met, it'll start doubling them up, which means there's dead zones on that map. And so as a killer...
But the dead zones are in a quarter of the map where there's a no man's land for a gen. It's not even a good 3-gen.
So find your 3-gen and force the pallets early. And once they've used their resources, everything's a dead zone. They don't have anywhere to go.
Well... Anyway, we have some stats, so let's go ahead and address that real quick. I'm sorry, I see where you're coming from, but I want to see these stats because I want. Oh my goodness, that is stark. Look at the hook differential. That is a lot. That is a lot of hooks for Port Mafia, as opposed to Death by Pallets not having nearly as much. The gen progression is remarkably the same, though. Interesting. But the average score is also pretty different. What do you think?
Looking at it, I'm excited to see how Mafia handles their generators. It's always going to be the biggest contention on winning these matches and preventing as many hooks as possible. Things I want to see in the match are in the first about 2 minutes, 3 gens pop, and that's when you know the survivors have a fluid advantage and a good start. But once the killer prevents that, and we've been 2 minutes into the match, and you see less than 3 gens done, killer's got his snowball, and then they got to roll with it after that.
For sure. I can say with certainty, from my experience personally, Port Mafia is a top-notch survivor squad. So I would think Port Mafia would have a really good shot here, but I don't know. What does chat say here? What is the results? Oh, I got to view all. Oof. That is stark. That is 10K to Port Mafia and 5K to Death by Pallets. That is... People seem to think that Port Mafia is going to take Trial 1, it sounds like. Wait, why does it say who will win Trial 2? I don't know. Anyway. So who do we got here? We got Dre today on Killer. That is pretty standard. I think I've seen them kill a couple times now. We got Splasher, Reality XI... It's XI, right? That is correct. It's not Reality Z. Reality XI, I think. And Zurin and Clay. And I believe Clay is their captain. I've talked with them on and off. They're not particularly fond of me for last match. Is that how you say Rio?
What would you say that they run as killer? What's their past play styles been like? Who have they been playing?
They've played a couple different ones. I don't think they've played any particular one killer more than once at this point. It's still really early in the league. They seem to have shown a spectrum. Against a team like Port Mafia, I'm expecting a Freddy or Spirit, though. I think they're going to come out swinging. I don't think I've seen a Nurse for them, though. So maybe Nurse? I don't know if they actually play Nurse. I don't know if they play it. Usually when you have a Nurse on your team, it's usually a Nurse main with like 2 others. But
yeah, you definitely need a pocket nurse for sure. If you don't have that pocket nurse for the end there, your potential is gone. Not guaranteed loss, but if you want to perform at that peak, you gotta have that person who can be a nurse. And nurse is one of the hardest killers to pick up, but also has one of the best payouts if you can get it.
For sure. And nurses mains are not cheap. I play nurse, but I've only got like maybe 80 to 100 hours in her. I'm not very experienced. I'm adept. I can hold my own in pubs, but that doesn't mean anything compared to comps. So, and that's the problem too. Is like people are like, oh, I play a nurse all the time. I'm great with nurse. They come into competitive and like, okay, never mind. I'm not good at nurse. Never mind. Sorry for wasting your time. Okay, so from your experience, how many hours do you think you need on nurse to be adept in a comp setting?
That depends on you as a player. Hours do not reflect skill.
True, it depends on the actual practice amount.
Right. People can pick up things faster than others. I mean, I would refer to Marth as probably one of the best nurses I've ever seen. And he didn't just sit there and practice with her. He picked her up, and it was natural for him. Back in the old nurse, he was finding things, teaching people the nurse techs. Some people just do that with certain killers. They get the way and flow of the power and perk combinations that work with the strategies they're rolling. But the amount of hours, irrelevant. You can show progress much faster than others, depending on your raw talent, your own skill. And your knowledge of the game will absolutely help out. And then your strategies you combine with that make all the difference. Plus, with the ever-changing meta of this game and how they tweak perks and how they work, you always just got to be ready. And so I would say as long as you're constantly playing nurse, you practice your every day, and you try out your builds and make sure that it fits the strategy you're running with nurse, then you'll get the best outcome.
After talking about it now, I just realized there's something my friend told me. It doesn't matter how much you practice. It matters how you practice. Like you said.
Yeah.
Are you playing nurse, or are you like playing nurse? Are you like taking time to reflect upon everything you do and be like, why am I doing it this way and such? So the fact that they picked it up naturally sounds kind of horrifying. I wonder what they do in their free time, but I don't think I've ever heard anyone picking it up as a natural, but
there are a couple players out there, a couple of them. They're obscure, but there are players who do extremely well at what they do. And it just comes with, who they are and how they meld with certain things, just like you would see in any fighting game. There's a certain style and strategy, and certain characters just instantly click with the way you want to play. And so comparatively to someone who would put hundreds of hours into them, you being a natural talent at that thing can knock off. Like, it doesn't matter. They can boast, I play 100 hours. Well, that's fine, but this guy's actually better than you, and he's played 50 hours, half your time. So let that be you got to stay away from that. I play X amount of hours and just show your results. Prove to me.
We are actually loading in, so we need to hit the rules video, but we will get back to this momentarily. So we could go ahead and rule video number 1, please.
Hello, everyone. We're going to be going over these rules and explaining how they work. So, 2 teams will go head-to-head, playing each role twice for a total of 4 trials. In play order is home team kills, survives, and then kills. In addition, teams get points in the trial for objectives, escapes, and hooks. And teams can't bring or use keys, iridescents, event items, or add-ons. Survivors can only bring 2 of a perk or item. Survivors can only bring yellow and brown items, and BP bonuses are awarded post-trial. Broken rules may result in penalties or restarts. Good evening, everybody. Welcome. It's Week 4 matchup conference rivals Death by Pallets versus Port Mafia. I am your commentator, Poggy, and I'm joined with the wonderful commentator Tide Time. Welcome. And we're going to be getting into the game right now, actually. And we literally just loaded in. Perfect timing. Well done, guys. And here's our Survivor Squad. A hag. Yes, I love hag. And you gotta love those low poly Minecraft resolutions as we continue to load the map in. But we're here with hag. And I'm curious how you feel about hag, Tide, because I know you've said it a little bit before, but I love hag personally.
It's a defensive play style. It's a protect your generators. But remember, now I was talking earlier about how this map particularly has some strong moments. Hag might be an insanely good choice here. depending on how Hag defends her realm, her area, and protects the generators as well as she does.
Yeah, and we do see the survivors kind of just hanging out, waiting out that corrupt intervention, which obviously is going to make Hag into a 3-perk killer if they don't get, you know, caught out or anything. But at the same time, she's using this valuable time to get her web set out and laid out, so it's not wasted time for her in this case. It's actually pretty good. And she kind of sort of runs into Fang, but I don't think she knew you were there, Fang. But anyway, she drops the pallet early. Really well done, I guess.
That was definitely the nerves speaking on Fang. I think
it
Fang
was
overestimated. Yeah.
I think I agree with the nerves.
That early pallet drop's going to be a big problem because, as I said earlier, you want to use those pallets up and get the resources out of the way. They're already doing that. So Hag's going to take advantage of that and do well.
And yeah, we see Hag get a really early down, and not only that, but she's getting ITH hits, and well, ITHs, I guess, like ATM machine, but I'd say that every time. But yeah, ITH all the way, twice in a row. Very nicely done by the Hag, and we'll see if she can continue that effort as she goes through. And she's running my 2 favorite add-ons, by the way. She is running the Circlet and the Dried Cicada, or I guess, yeah, Circlet. And those are my 2 favorite ones. I run those all the time. It basically increases the time, the setting time, or decreases setting time and increases the teleport distance.
Right, and that's actually extremely valuable for Hag, especially the teleporting distance. A couple of other things to keep your defensive up, depending if you're in an indoor map, things like the aura reading can help. That way you know whether the value of teleporting after that person is exactly what you want to do, and you get a little bit more information. But this is an open map. She can make the decisions very easily, and she can not only that, but defend her Hex Totem, which was right next to the hook. So she's got all that potential to put the pressure on the generators she wants.
And just like I predicted we would, we are having trouble keeping up with the Hag. I like to get the video from the survivors' perspectives, but it's really hard to keep up with it because Hag is just an all-over-the-place killer. Like right there, I was going to switch to Claudette, but we're back on Nia. And Nia goes down quickly right by the hook. Unfortunately, Hag's not going to take that next teleport because she's got a man slugged right here by the hook and would rather defend this, which is probably the smarter play than to go and take more hits. Although, I don't know what these servers can do here.
She's got a really good 2-person setup here. The survivors walked into the trap. They didn't properly counterplay the Hag, and unfortunately, Hag has all the power right now. And she's going to benefit. He's going to make a save. He's going to go down. She's still got someone on her grasps. This is the advantage that feeds into the Hag's power, and the Hag now has the snowballing, and she has all the power she needs to defend the generators next to her.
Exactly. And the one thing I really liked about that is we saw the Hag trying to wait out to get the grab, which is something I do a lot as Hag as well. But unfortunately, she wasn't able to get the grab, instead hitting the Quentin as he kind of faked for it. Well played by the Quentin. We'll see if the rest of the team can do similarly. With now 2 hooks and a progression. Death by Pallets 3-2 currently.
The issue here right now where the survivors are set up, they're kind of behind on the generators, and the generators that they are working on are not the ones that Hag are defending. So it puts them at a slight disadvantage. And unfortunately, they're going to lose an ally, and I'm not sure any of them can do anything about it. Oh, the trade on the pallet into Fang, I think that I can't.
Yeah, that was so close. She almost had that pallet, but just not quite. And Hag was able to capitalize. You swing just at the right time, and you can definitely get it before it goes down. But the timing has to be just right. And now dead on hook, of course, because she did progress to second hook. So she dead. She a dead one.
Claudette working on totem and sacrificing an ally for that totem. I'm not sure how valuable that's going to play out for the team, being they've led into a kill. I don't think Ruin was that threatening. This is a killer that doesn't commit to a chase, so Generator shouldn't be that big of a problem. Too many people injured. I wonder if they're going to go for the pound. No, she's going to go for the chase. She's going to chase. The Hag has all the power when she starts chasing.
Well, I mean, at this point, in this stage in the game, with one player dead, one player slugged, chasing is not a bad call for sure, and that's exactly what she's doing. I would probably be doing the same thing in her position, honestly. She's playing just like I probably would be right now.
Yeah, unfortunately, too many injured, unable to really like get distance on the Hag. And even though they did take out Ruin, not sure what the game plan is here. They're going to lose another. Oh wait, did they get back up?
I think he unbreakable up.
Back down. Giving the nod of approval.
Love the nod.
Laugh.
So I think the idea here is they're gonna want to try to reset. I'm pretty sure Claudette got Ruin out of the game, but at what cost, really? You have to ask yourself, was it worth it? And I'm starting to think that maybe they should have done a better job of trying to get Chase off of reality to see if maybe they could have stopped them from getting dead on hook or something. Maybe they could have done more. I don't know. It really just depends on a lot of factors. I didn't really get a good look at where they were at that point, but they are getting gens done now.
Yeah.
3rd gen is about to pop.
The other thing, though, if you notice, they didn't reset Nia. They didn't heal her. They focused on working on the generator, especially after getting Ruin, which puts them at the disadvantage. Having that extra health state makes all the difference in a chase, especially when you pop a trap and instantly go down just like that.
There's your point made right there. That's exactly right. And I would say the same thing. They should reset, and they didn't fully reset. They half resetted. Clay is the only one who is currently fully healed, and for some reason, the injured person was the one going in for the unhook. And that's just really risky. And of course, now Splash are going to be dead on hook. And I guess we'll see if these guys can at least get another generator out of the game, get a little extra points, but not really much they can do here at this point. Going for the slug, the 4-man.
Maybe we got to pray that Nia's gotten unbreakable. There's got to be a last-ditch effort play. Claudette's working on the generator. She is full life, so she could give a potential chase. And Hag, unfortunately, is now setting up to counter every chase method, and the survivors are not actively preventing that. Well, they can't really anymore. It's too late. Hag has all the power. Claudette.
You're not wrong. I just have a massive smile on my face because this killer is playing exactly like I would in her position and doing a fantastic job. She's capitalizing on everything. She's setting up her web. She's not abandoning that idea, keeping it up as much as possible, and she's going to get the Claudette down, almost certainly. It's just a matter of time, really.
And there was the mind game. Dead Heart into the window. Not
really nice.
Enough.
Really nice mind game. I love that skin, too. It's very stealthy, which is something I like to do as Hag, is play with a stealthy-looking skin. It actually might be more useful than I think.
Hag not only played properly to her strengths, but she also played to the mistakes of the survivors, exploiting every single mistake along the way and capitalizing on it. Definitely getting a very, very clean 4K.
I'm not a big fan of her build, but I mean, it doesn't seem like it really played against her at all. I would have gone very different. And the build was Surge, Corrupt Intervention, Hex Ruin, Hex Undying.
Surge?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I'm not a fan.
I would love to see. I would love to see Surge work. And we got a 4%! No, come on. Maybe that was a deliverance.
I don't know. Yes, she does have deliverance. It was.
I think it's.
I don't know that I would have deliverance though, because all you did was give the killer an extra hook point, so maybe not worth it. I think.
Butt touch. Poor Claudette. She got it done, and she's waiting out the decisive crack. I see.
That's clever. However, to ruin it for you, she doesn't have decisive strike.
And you play like that was what we were talking about in the last game. It's not that they know you do or do not. It's the threat of it being there.
Right.
Being able to run to the hatch that's threatening, so you have to honor it.
And yeah, I mean, I would too. I would honor it too, to be honest. But she does find the hatch. She kicks it early. Claudette, not obviously going to get to it. So It's game over, unfortunately, for Port Mafia in their first game. Death by Pallets coming in with a strong hag opening. We're going to take a look at the build and give a little bit more feedback on that and what we would have done different. I have my ideas, but I'm sure Rue could give some feedback on the build as well. But again, she did really well with it anyway. Hag can be good with no perks. So maybe that's what we saw. Yeah, and again, just for everybody watching, Undying, Ruin, Surge, Corrupt Intervention, and she brought my two favorite, the Necklet and the Cicada. So really nice on that part, at least. I'm not sure about this whole thing. I don't know how I feel about that. But anyway, what do you think about that, guys?
One thing is playing to the killer's weaknesses is always good. A lot of Iron Wills ran here. I'm assuming they're running that for Spirit. So they expected to see a Spirit here. And it seems like they didn't get that, because if I had expected my opponent to pick a Hag of all things and play super defensively on this map, which this map is great for defense, definitely in Urban Evasion, that will help you get past the traps or bring flashlights. Or maybe assign someone a flashlight. That would help eliminate the strong defense and get you through it. But trying to predict whether a Hag is coming or not, that's the hard part, and maybe a gamble that the teams have to take.
Right. Well, with that in mind, are we good on the score? I think so. So we're going to do a post-game review. We'll come back after this, look at some highlights, and get ready for the next game. Hopefully you guys are ready to see some more of these two teams. Ladies and gentlemen, we are watching Week 4 matchups. Conference rivals Death by Pallets versus Port Mafia. That's right. And this has been an exciting matchup already, with the Hag having a phenomenal start to this game, getting only 3 gens done on the survivor side with how many escapes? How many was it? 0. That's right. And that is unfortunate for them. But the killer, 7 hooks. Fantastic play. Not bad at all. And a 4K. So definitely worth it. So going into this, we have 21-7 in favor of Death by Pallets. We're going to be going into trial number 2 in just a few moments, but currently Death by Pallets is leading, and their logo does not like my green screen thing. So we'll keep working on these little bugs as we go on. Anyway, here are the highlights. Guys, take it away on these highlights. Let us know what you think about it as we get ready for the next one.
So one thing I noticed at the end there, I think the the deliverance play was completely intentional. I think they knew where the hatch was, and I think they were trying to go for the hatch to get a one-man escape. Because they almost had it. The Hag went and closed the hatch. It was nearby. They just didn't get it. So I think it was a gamble, and I can't fault them for the gamble. I think, especially, you deny Hag a hook and a progression, you get 5 points for the escape, 1 point for the hatch escape. I can understand wanting to go for it, because just try and keep it from being the result it was. Because now, yeah, 21-7. That's not a huge lead, but that is a really good lead going into trial number 2, in my opinion.
One thing is knowing your killer matchups for sure. The survivors fed into the Hag too much. They didn't play against her weaknesses. They played into her strengths, and she capitalized on their weaknesses. So as a group, the survivors likely need to recess the killer they're going against and make little calmer plays. Having 2 people down in a Hag's grasp is really rough for the survivors to recover from. And as you saw, the Hag took full advantage of it.
I will say I'm kind of surprised that this happened to Port Mafia. I've played Hag against Port Mafia, and they took me to town with my Hag. Maybe I just don't play Hag well. Maybe, maybe Dre today is just, an infinitely better Hag than me. But yeah, they didn't. There was a couple of them. I was really confused, especially the biggest thing. I didn't see a lot of Hag traps pop when they were being carried to hook. Whenever you see a Hag and you see someone down, you see them getting hooked, everyone runs wild through the web and try and break as many traps as possible and deny her web. And I don't think at any point in time she had less than 5 traps on this map, which is kind of insane. I don't know. I really don't know what happened. Port Mafia usually plays more aggressively against a Hag. Maybe they got taken off guard. Usually we see Rusty Shackles. That's why I was surprised. Usually it's Rusty Shackles, not, Dried Cicada, and I forget what the other one is, but yeah, you greater distance and quicker setting time.
It might be because of how big the map is. This map's typically larger and requires extra distance, especially if you're going to leave your realm to go and chase to take the advantage. So needing the cicadas, it makes sense.
Well, right. I like Cicada. I don't think I would have given up the Rusty Shackles. Then again, maybe that's what threw them off so much. Maybe they don't play against Hag that doesn't play with Rusty Shackles, because you can't immediately look away like you can usually. Like, oh, if you know where the trap is, you can turn away immediately as soon as you trip it. Whereas this one, it forces you to look at it, and so it's a violent reaction. Also, I saw chat react to this hit.
All right, there we go.
That hit right there was pretty rough. I don't know if that was dedicated or what, but
as I would say in the realm of Dead by Daylight, get dedicated. that killer was nowhere near, but it was very obvious that the way the Hag had swung, a little bit of desync went a long way on that hit.
And it happens too. I understand that hits happen that way, but man, it's a feels bad. But yeah, no, I don't really have much to say on, like you kind of said it all. They didn't react to Hag very well, and they didn't really push her 3-gen out. Just, I don't really know what happened. This is not normal for Port Mafia. This is not normal for their gameplay. They're much better than this normally.
One thing I really think about in terms of the toolboxes bringing in and how they can secure like the end of a generator. You know, often I would wonder if my team, if I had a competitive team here, would I have us ignore the extra speed, but always bring a Hag counter? If our team struggles against Hag, then 2 flashlights to destroy traps would almost completely eliminate Hag, especially if you can get a recovery on the flashlights using, oh boy, it's Felix's perk. How do I already forget the name of it? Built to Last. That's the one. Built to Last, get your flashlight back. It doesn't even take too long to break each trap along the way. So if your team struggles against Hag, one definite answer is to make sure you're bringing your flashlights in replacement to your toolboxes or medkits, whatever your team is suited for, and destroy the Hag's traps. And you can also actually use them to kind of like a sonar, just find where the traps are by flicking the light really fast. It gives you a quick aura reveal to just let you know what's nearby. You might not even have to use the flashlights to their potential.
True. And if you don't have a flashlight, I see it's a strat to often rummage the chests and see if you can find one, because you got 3 chests, you have a chance of finding a flashlight, and it's incredibly beneficial. Also, one thing I've also seen people talk about is that the new hitboxes are favorable to Hag. That might have been why they got so many good ITHs, because they got some sick ITHs on this map. It was insane.
The question about the hitboxes is that they didn't make adjustments to the hitboxes, so they're exactly the same. The things they did change was the posture and how survivors look.
Yes and no, but that's the problem. It's coded in blueprints. Why do you think Oni's terror radius all of a sudden disappeared? There's no rhyme or reason. It just happened because it's spaghetti blueprints. It's butterfly effect.
I mean, in terms of spaghetti and where I admit that they're originally I jumped on the spaghetti, but like a lot of things broke that were unrelated to the changes. I'm wondering, because game design's not the easiest thing in the world. Definitely.
But it's not easy when you have it all in blueprints.
No, that's very true.
And that's
Oh, bye, Rue. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like it's me and Poggy. We're taking the rest of the chat on.
Hey, it's me. I'm here. Rue gone. I guess maybe Rue kicked his search protector or something.
But one thing I think that did change was the perspective of things is a little different. So maybe it looks different to us. And maybe the cylinder that is the survivor's hitbox isn't meshed well with the way things look. I wish I knew. There were some DVD leaks before that showed us like the wireframe, exactly where it positioned on a survivor. And I can see it being off if the survivor stands straight up versus hunched over. And it could absolutely change our perspective on what looks like it should or should not hit.
I think Rue is actually back, so I'm going to disappear again. Maybe, possibly. Rue, are you here, buddy? Are you with us?
I don't know what's going on. I know that there's a winter storm outside, but that really shouldn't cause this much internet problems. I don't know. It's weird. We're having fun.
That's okay.
It's fine.
We're good to go, and we're actually loading now, so I'm going to go ahead and go to the rules video, give you a chance to recuperate your brain from what just happened to you. All right, everyone, we're going to be looking at how the game works from the killer side. Now, killer points. Each survivor is worth a total of 6 points per survivor. First hook is 1 point, second is 2, and third is 3 points. Progressing is only 1 point. Killer bonus points. Every 5,000 blood points is 1 point. Getting to hatch first is also 1 point. A killer can only be used a total of 3 times in the season. Killers have a 150 millisecond ping limit. Also, should a reset occur, the killer and perks must remain the same. Bringing the wrong map is a forced reset, and minus 10 points. Bringing a killer a 4th time is 10 points off, and changing a build after is also 10 points. Not being on the roster is a 5 point and a reset.
We're hunched over with their butt sticking out, so they definitely get hit by.
Yeah, that would make sense. And we're back here to Week 4 matchup conference rivals, Death by Pallets versus Sport Mafia. Welcome back, everyone. We're still loading in. We were talking about hitboxes and code and all that stuff. Boring stuff, nothing you guys would probably enjoy. Unless you're a coder or you like hitboxes. I don't know. So far, Sport Mafia having a hard time. But they're going to be killing now, so we're going to get to see how they do on killer. And we're loaded in right now, so let's jump on into it. We got Ninny on killer playing a pig. A pig. My new favorite killer is pig currently. Well, I mean, hag is still always my favorite, but a close second for sure is the pig right now. And she gets an early lead. Finds Meg quick.
The stealth ability on defense would be really good. It's going to be drastically different in contrast to how the hag played.
Yeah. And another thing is this map isn't huge, so you can definitely get a lot of value out of Pig, even though she doesn't have a lot of map, motion or whatever you want to call it, like map running aroundingness. How do you call it again? What's the word? There's a word for it. My brain is farting on that. The ability to run around the map. Map pressure? Yeah, that's it. I couldn't think of the word. What's wrong with me? Anyway, Ninny is using her stealth ability now and working her way toward the center of the map, and we do see a corrupt intervention here. She's going to probably kick this door, get it out of the way quick. That's good. These doors do benefit survivors. Not a bad use of time, probably early in the game. And I think she's working her way towards this generator right over here. And there we see the pig using a... Oh, wow, I haven't seen that skin before. And Zarina does take a hit, works her way to the T&L loop, using a live to get some extra distance away from it. Now back around here toward the trees, and the box is going to probably go down here. Yeah, that's going to be it for Zarina. First hook going to be early, too. I think the other generators are only just now getting to like 50%, and they're working on all 3 of them together. And Fang is splitting off from the group, probably to prepare for the early unhook as well.
I was going to say, did she slug? It didn't seem like she backed her up.
I wasn't sure either. No, she probably took a moment to put on the hat, and it takes a little longer to do a hook for her. Ooh, she does spot Fang. Fang's going to go with a little bit of extra speed and not going to go for the unhook, not bombing the hook this time. Going to wait for someone healthy to go get it. Instead, trying to get aggro away from the hook, working to the T&L loop, using live to get extra distance as well. So that's 2 lives that we've seen. One on Zarina, one on Fang. And Pig is not necessarily sticking to that target. I think she sees Sybil over here. Cheryl.
I'm kind of curious to why Fang must not have had borrowed time to not go for that save. She questioned, hesitated, kind of went to move as if she was going to save, and then chose not to.
I think she was considering bombing the hook, and maybe someone in comm said, no, don't get the unhook. And maybe something like that happened. It could have been like a last-minute don't do it kind of thing. Quite possible. We can't hear their comms, so we don't know what they're saying. But it would make sense. And Zarina going for a pallet flashlight. Getting a stun on the killer as well.
Very interesting to see a flashlight make it in now. That we saw the hag have so much pressure here. And the pig pick probably was to play into the fact that they likely were preparing to play against another hag.
Well, this is they did switch sides. So Port Mafia now is killing, and Death by Pallets is now surviving. So it is just a different squad. I think this squad has actually run at least one flashlight before, usually just as a prophylactic in case they do see a hag. It's kind of like, I think the reason why we see them run Iron Will a lot is because they're using it as a prophylactic in case there's a spirit. So not necessarily expecting to see one, but just, you know, just in case kind of thing. Could be. I don't really know what's in their heads sometimes.
Dead hard into the TNL loop, getting a lot of value. Even activating the Bloodlust on Pig, that is exactly what you want to see. Bloodlust allowing you to know you've made a valuable chase.
But she does leave the TNL loop. She had some good safety there. She could have tried to use the other half of it, but then decided not to. I don't know what the decision there was. 2 gens remaining. Ooh. She is beeping fast.
She's already gone through most of the lockboxes. I believe she's been spending most of her time just going straight for them. And she just might be unlucky to have the 4th box, which is unfortunate.
We've actually seen people die to the hat at least one, I think twice actually this season. And I don't know if we're going to see it today. I would like to. It's fun to watch. But I don't know. I don't know. Platinum Cino is just kind of going straight to boxes. Wow, this box is far, though. She better move it or lose it. This is going to be a close one. She's beeping fiercely. Getting the unhook now. Sybil's going to take a hit, and Meg going to run the other direction as we see her lining up for that chase. Not going to tunnel. Platinum Cino is seconds away from a death. And she does die to the hat. She did not make it. That is unfortunate. I think there might be 5 boxes, not 4. Maybe that's why, because she did finish it.
Yeah, that's a shame. Based on the add-ons that she's running, and she's doing the shorter time with the additional box, that makes it incredibly difficult. And it's very unfortunate that popped on her head. One definite thing when playing against a pig, your team has to slow down to let your allies get those hats off before they activate. It's very important. But of course, if Ruin's in play, this is one of those few times that like there's a synergy with Ruin, because it does force people off. Once you've caught them, they got a hat. If the generator pops, now it becomes a threat to your whole team. And this team has now seen that threat. They have a helmet pop.
That's exactly right. And that's, you know, a really good point, too, because when we've seen this other team before come in and actually die to the hat, it's because they were still pushing gens really hard, and the person just didn't have time to even start doing boxes until after the gen popped and their hat activated. So, I mean, you do want to at least let them get maybe 1, maybe 2 boxes, and at maybe 99 your gens, or slow down just a little bit. I mean, it's tricky. It's hard. It's a hard call to make, and I understand that for sure, but you know, when you have 5 boxes, it's going to increase your odds, or I guess decrease your odds quite a bit. So you got to look out for that as well. And Pig is probably going in for the Fang, who is working on this middle gen, using her Pop Goes the Weasel to regress it quite substantially. Now going into stealth mode as Meg is in a similar position, trying to get her hat off. And Fang is still hanging out.
This is rough for that hat. They activated on her. Hopefully she had enough time to get it. Oh, she got downed with the hat partially activated. This is where the snowball for Pig comes in. It's both teams so far have played into the killer's strengths. The coordination for, you know, I've got a hat on, let me take a couple attempts. They're disregarding the killer's power, I believe. Same with how it went with Hag. They just played into it, and now this one's playing into it. So it's giving the Pig all the power she wants to control the game. We've gone way more than 2 minutes, and there's only 2 generators done. This is exactly what you want to see as a killer to get that snowball effect from the beginning to end.
Yeah, and she's doing it phenomenally well. I mean, the Pig is not having any trouble at all keeping these survivors locked down at 3 gens, and no Hex Ruin, but she had Pop Goes the Weasel as a backup, and it's working really well.
So notice Meg's now at about 75% on that helmet.
Yeah, she is very far along.
She got interrupted on the box. She has to redo the whole box, which is actually slower now. We might see a second trap pop out.
Hopefully not. I mean, for her sake, I'm hoping not. But at the same time, I like seeing it. It's funny, but I feel bad for them that they're having to go through that. And Meg getting downed again right at the box. I don't think she's going to let her finish it.
It's over.
She's done.
It's over.
She is done. The only way is if they somehow magically get it off, but I don't think so. She does have a DS though, but I mean, what is that going to do?
Strike. She has to initiate chase, or that thing's going to pop on her head. I don't even know if that's the final box for her to check, but she needs to get into chase, which it's not happening. That is going to pop. She is done.
I just kind of want to watch it happen. Just slow. She's just standing there like, yeah, well, you know, it is what it is. I do think Fang might get hers off, though. Because hers hasn't activated yet. But, I mean, you know, at this point, it doesn't matter. And she did die to the thing. I didn't get to see it. Oh, boy. That is tough. That is tough. So, the
team's gonna have to come up with something quick.
Yeah,
I don't know what their plan is. How many generators were left for Hank? 3 as well.
I think so. I mean, if it were me, I would just straight up go for a generator and maybe tap a couple of them just to make her think you're at that generator or something, and you know, stealth my way around the map a little bit. The hat hasn't activated yet, so there's really no sense in necessarily getting it off of your head. I understand the motivation to do it. I'd probably also be resetting and getting myself healed up by my, you know, team or whatever, but she's not doing that, and as a result, she's going to go down. Yep. There she goes.
Unfortunate. Now we have the ally who's been unscathed for the most part. The idea from here is going to be find the hatch, but it's not even spawned yet because of how few generators were done. Big's got some good pressure right now. Just with 2 people dying with hats, you rarely get to see it, but hey, we got 2 in one day. I'm not complaining.
I love it. I love it personally, but that's just me. I get fired. Apparently the chat's firing me because I did not switch back over to Meg. I switched over the wrong direction and was like, oh, that's not her. And it was too late, so I didn't get to see it go down. But yeah, she does go down again. Busta Gibbs on the ground and gonna be left on the ground too, I think. She's going for the 4-man slug here.
They're going to need to come up with the strategy. Get a gen done, get her up, reset her. It doesn't seem like they've got the plan to prevent the slugging from happening. They used the unbreakable. She got up on her own, and she got away. Pig gonna find Cheryl, I believe it is.
Just barely found her too. I didn't know she got a little bit lucky there finding her because Cheryl was being really quiet and kind of stealthing back there. But Cheryl is going to go for the window, gonna make it, I think, as the pig goes around the other way. This long window can be very safe. Is she going to drop the pallet early? I would probably. Yeah, there's the early pallet drop and a stun. Very nicely played by Cheryl. And Cheryl may be working her way to try to go for the heal on Fang really quick, which could give them a little opportunity, but no, she makes a mistake, jumps in front of the killer and goes down even with the dead hard. Not going to be good enough, unfortunately, and Busta Gibbs and Ofreakazoid will be hooked, and that'll be GG's.
It was disappointing I didn't see a third trap pop. I'm sad now.
I feel like I should be fired because we didn't see the second one. But, I mean, we did see the first one. We're going to see it in the replay, so you guys get to at least watch it happen over and over again, if that makes you feel better. Sorry, chat. So sorry. Love you all. Don't fire me. Please, cancel Poggy. Don't do that.
So I believe this is an equal game for both the survivor and the killer. Is it? Or no?
We'll see. The scores are going to be really close.
For the trap break. Yeah.
The score, no, it's the same, yeah.
It's rough. The survivors really are going to have to shake off the loss and come back. They're getting put down pretty hard. They're playing too much into the killer's power instead of playing to counter what the killer provides.
And no adrenaline means she does stay on the ground, kind of crawling around to no man's land. Could be a long endgame. Buckle up, folks. This could be a long one. So, I assume that this has been calculated correctly with the Mori kill, the pig hat rule. I don't know if it actually counts as a second hook too, right? Sam, it only counts as the third hook. The second hook does not get counted at the Mori kill. Is that right? I didn't hear him. Did he say something? Sam.
He didn't say any. You're correct. He said you're correct.
Oh, okay, yeah. So it only counts as the Mori kill with no second hook. So unfortunately, it does take away a couple of points. So it's not quite as valuable as getting a third hook, but still,
wait. Let's
wait,
clarify something.
Oh, go ahead.
No.
I can barely hear you, but go ahead.
Pig hat.
How can you barely hear me? I'm right up on the mic.
Now I kind of hear you.
Yeah.
Pig hat. A pig hat kill's worth 3.
Right.
Is that what you were saying?
I was saying, do you count the second hook as well? Does it become just 3 and you don't get the second hook, right? That's right?
Correct.
It doesn't-
Wherever they die,
okay.
it's 3 points.
Got it. Okay, so that's what I was trying to say. Yeah. So you get the pig hat. If you weren't hooked once or twice or whatever, you only get however many points it is for the pig hat, which is 3 points. So she doesn't get the extra points for that second hook that she would have gotten had she hooked her again.
It seems we're gonna get a bleed out.
I think so. Which we have not seen yet this season, I don't think. Everybody's always been able to find that last survivor. But not this time around.
Cheryl, crawl!
And that'll be I believe a Mori kill is what we call it. Entity kill is a Mori kill. And
scaring off
just a
that crow
few
could
more
be
seconds.
dangerous.
She didn't see it,
Kill it.
so didn't seem to matter. She's hanging up by
No.
the exit gates.
They
Oh,
never
boy.
expect to find me at the exit.
Right.
I'm
Yeah,
just
that's-
checking every corner. Pig is
Well,
stumped.
She is definitely
Uh-oh.
stumped.
She's coming up to a door, though.
Uh-oh.
Wait a minute. She's coming up to
Maybe.
a door. Did she notice?
No, not enough time. And she does see her die, though. Very well done.
Feel
I mean, Pig did
bad.
well, though. Pig did really well. Look at that score. Fantastic. No, I don't want to report you. I'm sorry. That was the wrong button. My apologies. And the build was Hex Ruin, Pop Goes the Weasel, Corrupt Intervention, and Sloppy Butcher, with, of course, we saw slightly decrease the time it takes to crouch, and considerably increase the time it takes Survivor to search a jigsaw box, and moderately increase the time it takes Survivor to put on the reverse bear trap on a Survivor, which means there was only 4 boxes, so she didn't die to 5 boxes, she died to 4, which, honestly, surprising.
But they slowed down the time it took to go through those boxes, so it took
Right.
longer. And every time she had downed someone who had an active hat, they had to restart the box from 0, and that was huge, especially for Meg, who almost got it off. The other things to note, though, is Sloppy Butcher. Smart. You don't allow them to heal. Nobody's running botany to counter your Sloppy, so healing becomes too time-consuming to do. On top of that, you've got a helmet to take off, which also is now taking too much time. I think one of the strongest things this pig did was play to their strategy, which I haven't seen too much, but this one, perfect. Sloppy Butcher into a slowdown, head traps into a slowdown, and then you allow your stealth to sneak up on the others. Worked well.
So-
It slowed them down enough.
Really quick, Sam, because we haven't actually dealt with this before, and my score system is breaking. I just want to clarify. I'm going to be using the third hook button instead of the Mori kill because she died on the ground, and it's 3 points. Is that correct?
She died by the entity? I wasn't
Yes.
watching, I'm sorry.
She died by the entity,
Then
yes.
Yes, the
That would-
entity is
that'd be 3
also...
She didn't die by entity. She died
she
by
bled
bleeding
out.
No, that's
Well,
no
no, yeah,
points.
she
That's
bled out.
points.
No point?
That's
Okay,
Oh,
no
okay.
points.
No
Oh,
points.
right. Yeah, okay. Sorry. My fault. My apologies, folks. I'm a really big idiot when it comes to how to use our own scoring system. So With that said, I think the points are right. So we're going to go into the post game. We'll be right back in just a moment, and then we will look at some highlights. I think you got all the blood points in there, Rue. Did you? I can't. For some reason, it's not showing properly.
Yes, sir.
On my end. Okay. So off we go then. So, ladies and gentlemen, guess what? We've been watching Week 4 matchups, conference rivals Death by Pallets versus Port Mafia. It's been a fantastic set of games with these killers doing really well today. Surprisingly well. And here's what you just witnessed. We just saw 2 generators getting done. A rough game for these survivors. 0 escapes, 2 of them dying to the hat, sadly. 7 hooks, fantastic showing by the pig, with 4 kills. Well played all around. And a 5-19 in trial number 2. Currently leading. Let's see who it is. So, a hung jury. They're tied. So Port Mafia led in trial 2, but it's currently a tied game. That's phenomenal. We're tied going into trial number 3, ladies and gentlemen. That is crazy.
The point differential in both games was even, despite the fact it was 21-7 first round, but it's 19-5, so same point difference. So yeah, it actually ties it up. Pretty crazy. I don't think we've ever seen that happen. That was a perfect response answer from the pig.
Right. All right, hang on one second. I'm having more technical stuff. Go ahead.
I've never seen this. Has anyone ever seen that add-on used? I've never seen the crouching add-on used in my life.
Yeah, actually, her crouching add-ons are amazing. Her dash isn't terrible, but it's not guaranteed and can be a little rough to get going. So you eliminate the need to require that additional risk by allowing yourself to stand back up quickly and reacting quickly. Things you'll run that with are Save the Best for Last, Sloppy Butcher, usually your M1 style build, Nurse's Calling, Ways to Track, that type of thing. It's a very aggressive pig who doesn't use the lunge often.
Right. When I play pig, I don't use lunge either. I'm going to have to check out this add-on. That's actually kind of interesting. I wonder how much time it actually takes off of your animation.
It makes a noticeable difference. I would have to look it up. It's not much time, but it does make a noticeable difference when you stand up directly behind someone and just get a quick pop off on them. It's fantastic. And then when you're running Save the Best for Last, it becomes an almost instant down chase. You get a hit, they run just a little bit, and then you catch up again and hit again.
All right, then. I'll have to go check it out sometime. That's interesting to me. Because, yeah, I know one of the common add-ons is either, I'm surprised I didn't use Tamper Timer, but it ended up working out. Usually it's Tamper Timer and an extra box, or Tamper Timer and extending the amount of time it takes for them to actually pull the hat off.
Well, it could. It could, but here's the problem with that. You're preying on RNG to really help you out there. You can have 5 boxes. They can still get that off on the first try.
True.
So just utilizing... Go ahead.
I was going to say, clips don't appear to be playing from that game. I don't know if something's wrong with them or what, but they're not playing back. I don't know what's going on. So we're just going to watch clips from the Hag while you guys talk about the pig game.
That's fine.
Sorry.
So let's put a pig face on the Hag right now. They both played in a way that utilizes their strength, and they both had their strengths kind of abused. They were played into, they were not countered, and it seemed like they both had the maximum benefit they could get. In fact, only 2 generators being done against Pig, that's the value in that is insane. Pig's not mobile, especially when she's stealthing. She's slower. And then you have Hag, who is not mobile, but, she's got a good defense. And Hag was able to play a mix of defense, offense, and Pig was able to pressure enough to get everyone off of what she wanted. And then the traps popping, the survivor's not communicating to prevent the traps from going off. The focus there was getting the gens done. And that's a great focus, don't get me wrong. But Pig's one of the few killers that you have to question, is it worth starting the timer? And in this case, it was not.
So 2 things. One, chat says that it is minus 0.3 seconds on the crouch, which that's actually phenomenal for a brown add-on. That's really impressive.
To be fair, for a brown add-on, it is like the only add-on that does it.
I know. It's the flavor brown add-on. I know, but...
Let me also preface this. Add-ons, but by the color, don't determine their strength. It just determines how rare they are. But you can get certain things, like even brown add-ons do provide big numbers, especially if they're the only kind that do the effect they're talking about. So, for example, for this crouch, it's brown, but that crouch value, because it's the only add-on that does it, is really high.
I know, and it's the same thing with Demogorgon. His best add-on is literally rat liver.
Right.
So, yeah, I know, I understand it. Iridescent doesn't mean anything, but I don't know. I'm still getting used to just how esoteric and obscure some of these brown add-ons are, but they're actually really beneficial. Again, I'm gonna have to go try this out for myself. I'm interested. But what I was saying before is the one thing I also was surprised at. Usually, if you know you're facing a pig, you try and do kind of what you do against Oni, where you try and deny them any early aggression at all. You throw pallets early, you make sure they don't get hits, make sure they don't get you down. Pig got a pretty early down, and they never adjusted to it. Like you said, I think that was probably the biggest problem was they let them get that early down, and they just went from there.
And that early down turned into an early kill, too.
It did.
The hats, and the hats slowed them down. The Sloppy Butcher, making it not possible for them to heal nearly as fast. They weren't resetting. And then Pig just dominated. And it could have been nerfs. Could have been a lot of things. But as far as I can tell, based on what we've seen, they played into the Pig strength.
For sure. There was... I've had good pig games. I've had bad pig games. I have yet to see a pig game like this happen in a long time where you literally have two people's heads pop. That is... I don't know how that happened. I've never seen that before. That's insane to me.
Now, I wonder, did they try to heal while they went for the boxes?
That's a good question.
That's another question. Now, Sloppy slowed them down. Mm-hmm. So, again, that plays into it. The synergy there is really good.
Pig is also somewhat of a hit-and-run killer to me, too, because of the stealth. Maybe not specifically that much on this map, but a lot of the time when I play them, it's kind of a hit-and-run, so hitting with Sloppy, and, if they take the time to heal, cool, we're not on gens, but it's just, making them waste time where you can. And then, yeah, if they healed with the hat, it's just, thank you.
Pig got a lot of value out of the stealth, played the map very well. The center building is going to hide the pig all the way up until she gets out. Plenty of cover on this map.
For sure. And yeah, I think we pretty much covered it all. Just the survivors didn't play around Pig very much. Maybe they weren't expecting Pig. But anyway, I'm assuming they're going to run the same team back. We're probably going to see the same killer, maybe? This is a new killer for Port Mafia, I believe, so I'm curious who they're going to send next. If they're going to bring out Ninny again, or if we're going to see someone different. I'm assuming the same Survivor Squad for Death by Pallets, though. Oh, okay. Bet.
Other things to talk about, though, is that this team, though they came a little more prepared for the counter, having a flashlight for Hag as an example, I often wonder, do they not play enough against pigs? Because Pig isn't that common. She's been given the shaft massive nerfs to her kit, especially with the whole, if you put a trap on at the end, it doesn't do anything, which is... I remember a lot of pig mains being so upset. Their favorite killer just dragged through the mud, and she's tolerable now. I wouldn't say she's one of the best stealth killers, but if this was a killer they were just burning, they burned her well.
100% honest. So far, what I've seen, Pig is very rarely a burn killer here, just because if you happen to if you get lucky and get that early down, you can snowball so hard because she's one of the best killers for slowing down the game, just naturally by her kit. Because, like you said, you don't want to do a gen necessarily if you've got a hat on someone already. Especially when it's if you haven't even finished your first gen and they got a hat, it's like, well, do we really want to risk this person potentially getting the head pop if we can't cover for them well? And so, yeah, I've seen a lot of pigs in the league so far. So I understand maybe in other situations, and it may just be that, overall Pig may not be super strong on every map, but I've seen Pig go to town on Ormond even. To be fair, though, the one on Ormond, they brought Tamper Timer and the slowdown for taking the hat off. And because Ormond spawns those boxes in 4 corners of the map effectively, you're walking the full length to try and get the head off.
Right, which means
So-
the teams need to go back and they need to assess how they handle Pig. Because if you do walk into Ormond, and that does happen, your team has to better set up for getting the hats off. Unless you just want to risk Gen Rush and let a couple of hats pop, let it happen. But especially here, the Survivor gave up, right? But even now, don't give up. You're going to die, but help your team till the end. Let it pop, but do a generator. Every charge, every second counts. You know, and though I can understand the point of hopelessness when a timer is literally telling you when you're going to die, you got to be there to the end. Although they tied, if one more generator was done, that would have broke that tie. You know, it would have made the difference. In fact, Pig not finding the final slugged survivor was also detrimental to her, but she secured the 4K. She got it done. She got away with it.
Sure, and I also realized this just now is that, again, going back and, you know, looking at things in post, you see a lot more. They didn't get that center gen done. And that center gen, when it spawns there, I feel like it's crucial to get that done really quickly. And they didn't. And so the Pig just had the game centered around where they wanted, it felt like. So, I don't know. Do you think the center gen is, like, priority?
Center gen's definitely a contention point because it sets up most of the three gen setups. So yeah, getting that center gen is valuable. And you kind of want to do it before the killer breaks that sidewall too. You need the value out of that window because there's not. I haven't seen any pellet spawn on the inside yet.
All right, well, folks, we're looking at how the Survivors side earns their points, and let's look at all their objective score points, counting down from 5 generators. 5 and 4 are worth 1 point each, 3 and 2 gens are worth 2 points each, and 1 is worth 3 points. 1 escape is worth 1 point, 2 escapes is worth 2 points, 3rd escape is worth 4 points, and the 4th escape a total of 5 points. Every 16,000 scored is worth 1 point. First to hatch also gets 1 point. Survivor penalties: bringing banned or limited items, perks, or add-ons is minus 10 points. Changing build after reset is also minus 10 points. And starting with the wrong skin or avatar or a non-listed roster player is minus 5 points as well. All right, folks, we're going to be looking at how the Survivor side, and we are back here again. Week 4 matchups, conference rivals, Death by Pallets versus Port Mafia. I am your commentator, Poggy, and I am joined with the wonderful Tide. We're still loading in. We're waiting on the game to load. This will be trial number 3 that you're going to be seeing, as they have just now gotten in the game. Let's see what we got. We got a twin. We see twins.
That has to be a burn killer. Has to be.
Possibly. We have seen the real Zappies do really well with the twins, so I don't know. Maybe this is a twins main, or possibly really good with twins. We'll have to see. Maybe they're feeling confident. And just getting the ball rolling. They haven't done anything yet. Yeah, that's a lot of confidence to bring a twins. I mean, for me, because I'm bad with twins. I do not like this killer at all myself.
The player gets my utmost respect if they can 4K, even 3K. I'll take it. Twins has been an interesting problem in the game in terms of the way she's set up. She's almost like Spirit. Yeah, she's almost like Spirit. In a way, like, you get a hit, and then your power kind of confirms, and then you kick Victor in the face. Okay. That's the difference between Spirit and Twins.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, she wasn't able to land the hit. If she had, it would have been an early down. That was actually not a bad idea, to chase the Survivor, M1 them, and then send Victor after them. It was a good strategy. It just didn't work because they missed the land at the window.
Yeah, this is what I meant about Twins being like Spirit too. It's you got the power to secure the kill, but to do it is significantly harder.
Ooh, and we're seeing that right now with this God Pellet getting in the way of Victor, and she is going to switch back to Charlotte. Get the down again on Busta Gibbs. Finally, actually gets him down, rather. Very well done, and is going to get a hook at least. No gens have been done yet, so an early hook, I guess we can call it. Not too bad. Not too shabby.
Two gens should be popping soon. We need to be holding on to that. Survivors need to apply the pressure.
A nice attempt at stealth, not bad, but she does spot her out of place there as a result. I think what we saw was because of the scratch marks, the stealth just wasn't going to do it. If there hadn't been scratch marks, if she'd snuck her way in there completely, maybe stealth would have been a good play, but she was looking for you. She knew you were there somewhere. And as a result, she goes down. You got to know how to you got to know how to blendette. I'm a blendette main, and I can tell you, the way you do it, you got to walk around basically everywhere. Otherwise, your scratch marks get seen, and they're going to be looking for you.
One of the most dangerous things, like we've been talking with the last 2 killers, playing into the killer's strength is very dangerous. And remaining injured against the twins, that's playing into the very few advantages that twins can make, just like playing in the advantage of spirit. You don't want to be injured because you don't want the little munchkin to take a bite at your ankles. You just don't.
And he's going to probably get the hit on Cheryl, who's going to go down. She gets kicked, however, and is going to be switching back. By the way, to the devs' credit, we used to have this problem where I'd have to switch manually in spectator mode from Victor to Charlotte. Now it does it automatically. So that's a nice touch. I appreciate that. Thank you, devs. So we do have Pogo on top going down quick. And going to get another hook. That's now 3 hooks for Charlotte.
Wait, I'm sorry. I hate to interrupt. Did you just find something that they fixed?
Yes. Yes, they did. They fixed something. Remember how I had to keep manually switching from Charlotte to Victor whenever the killer would switch to Victor? I don't have to do that now. It just switches back and forth automatically. I can just sit here and watch. It's fantastic. Oh, boy.
How long
now
has this
sending
match
Victor
been
back to the hook? We are at 4 minutes, and we have had no generators get done.
No generators. That's rough. This team needs to get it together. They need to gen. You're 4 minutes in when you should have 3 gens done. You're behind, and you've already got a couple hooks out there. You got people injured, and you got the munchkin on someone's back.
And another one gonna go down.
All of them are injured. Nobody. This is rough.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, though, she is applying a lot of pressure to these gens and using Ruin very well. So, I mean, that's probably what we're seeing a lot of happening. But they're giving her too much rope by not fully healing. Now, they have kind of fully healed, Busta Gibbs being the only one who's injured now. So maybe they're kind of recuperating, figuring it out. Let's see how they do. Twins is a tough one. Like, I don't normally see twins, so I wouldn't really necessarily know immediately how to counter it either. Like, you just don't see it that often.
You treat it like any other killer. You focus the generators, but you also heal. You treat it semi-like spirit, because you don't want this to happen. Now, you've got Victor slugging someone, and you have injured allies. You got to heal. This is an injury it's easy to recover from, but absolutely there's no gen pressure being done. There's no way the twins should be applying pressure to 4 different people right now. 2 people going down, 2 generators should have been done. The time and the mind games that are going on from the twins, I guess, is putting this team at odds. If I see a twins 4K again, it's fantastic to see, but you hate to see it as a survivor for sure.
And we do see Meg getting a nice Pallets done, and not too bad, but 3 people injured right now. This could be very bad, and we see blood everywhere also, so even worse. This is going to be devastating, I think, for this team. They got 1 generator done, but Zarina going to go down right outside by this tree, and he's not done. He's going to... This is the thing about Victor, is that once you attack a healthy survivor, you lose access to Victor. But if you attack injured survivors, you can just keep slugging them. You can just slug, and do like that. However, he did miss that one as a result of the window, but still.
Another bit to keep in mind is these survivors split up against Victor, and that's a problem. Because when Victor takes someone out, he's vulnerable. So survivors together in this case are far stronger because they can guarantee they take Victor out and he won't destroy all of them. And then you can recover your ally before Charlotte shows up.
Yeah, I have heard that it's best to run in pairs with the twins. I've heard that. I don't know how true it is, but I've heard it. I just haven't seen the twins. I don't think I've really seen the twins more than once after release. So for me, it's unclear. Others have more experience than I do. Victor doing a nice pallet jump, but is going to get kicked right by the exit gate. 2 generators completed, 3 remaining. Current score 32-28, currently favoring Port Mafia. Let's see if they can hold on to that lead.
Wasting Victor on a hit. At least it wasn't another down, but it does leave her injured along with the rest of her team. They're going to need to figure out the strategy here. What is their plan to get 3 more generators done? They're already behind schedule, and I believe they still have Ruin up, if I'm not mistaken.
They do still have Ruin up. I don't know that they do have a solid plan, or if they do have a solid plan, it's just not really working. That was an incredible long jump. Holy crap. Really well played. That was fantastic. I have not seen a long jump like that in a while. That was beautiful.
Solid play, not paying attention. Down. Yeah. This contest is coming. You know, I'm not. See, this is the management seems a little scattered. They gotta heal against Victor. Have to. Charlotte, basic killer. She's got no powers other than to secure downs and slug. Slows down the game once you got it going. But it seems like Twins is making up, playing right into the killer's strengths, and not against.
Yeah, and that's rough to watch. It's hard to watch.
Watching little Victor here come right after Fang. He's going for the ankle.
Oh, right through the window. Very nice. Very nice. That was lucky. She almost made it through that window. This is going to be maybe a 12-hook game. The way she's juggling them around, she's not going for any tunnels. She's just slugging and downing and slugging and downing and hooking and just rinse, repeat kind of thing.
Now, are the survivors going to heal up? That's the question.
They really need to. They really need to find somewhere to go, somewhere in a corner or in a safe spot, and do some healing up quickly. They need to do it now. And what we see instead, they do get Ruin down, so at least Ruin's out of the picture. Maybe they can make some headway now, but again, 2 people, actually 3 people are dead on hook. One of them still hanging out on the hook. Somebody has to go for that unhook. We have 2 people now fully healthy. Oh, Freakazoid being the only one injured.
The hesitation, I think the Twins has this team shaken.
I think so too. They seem like they're a little bit scared, maybe a little bit concerned. She's going to go for the unhook with Victor. I'm sorry, that just gets me every time. And a grab on Freakazoid. That is going to be death hook for Freakazoid. Out of the game. GG for that one. 3 generators remaining with a kill already. Oof.
Survivors going to need a better plan. They still have 2 of the death on hook players injured, and now Victor's going hunting.
Yeah, and he's just found one of them.
Fang's down.
She's down and gonna go out next, I think. If I were Victor or Charlotte, I would probably switch over and go ahead and get him. But she's instead gonna use Victor one last time, get another injury, and then go back in for the Fang. So, good play. She might even go in for the slug on Serena first. I don't know. No, she's not. She's going this way. Back towards, I think, where she remembers Fang being.
I think she's
last second pop goes the Weasel. Maybe. I think she just barely missed her pop goes the Weasel at the end there.
It's a shame to see that the survivors aren't coming together against this killer. And is playing in the killer's favor. And again, it's just like the Hag game. It's just like the Pit game. The survivors have something in mind, but I'm not sure what it is. Are they finally? No. They're staying together, though. They could kick Victor, but one survivor abandoned the other. And she came back and kicked him. Oh, there we go. The first player.
Very nice.
Good. Fantastic. This is the teamwork you need.
The thing, though, it's just too little too late. It really is. It's just too little too late now. For any of this teamwork to actually work together, it's game over now.
Well, maybe she can get a last-second pickup while using a TNL loop. Oh, she messed up the loop!
Oh, that was so close. TNL loops are basically 50-50s every single time you get to one of those moments, and that's kind of what she did. She did a good mind game, got her down really quick. Tough loop. Probably one of the fairest loops I've heard.
It's interesting to see they finally had that plan to come together and stay together. However, it was a little too late. They lost 2 survivors.
I'm sorry. I love the way she just slowly got up from Unbreakable and was like, I'm out of here, and then goes back down. That was just too cute. But yeah, that is GG's, unfortunately. I think she's going to keep this here and then go look for the hatch. Yeah, that's what she's doing. You're going to use that killer instinct to kind of keep track of Zarina for a moment while she tries to go find the hatch. Switching
That
targets.
is...
Yeah, she's keeping track of her.
Yeah.
She wants that extra hatch point. I mean, why not, right? Why not?
Especially after the last game, can't have a tie happen again. Gotta get every last bit.
Milk it all, definitely. And I wonder, though, going into Trial 4, what's Death by Pallets going to answer with? They're going to have to come back with another killer. Their first killer did really well. We saw the Hag do phenomenally. I mean, do you think they'd bring Hag twice, or what would you do?
No, you wouldn't waste it on that. Hag did okay for them playing into, but really, you want to burn a killer, but one, like, I expected Twins to be a burn, and again, the fact he got a 4K on what I would consider a burn character, for sure.
Right.
I mean,
he played it so well, though. He did. He just executed so well. He juggled so well. He went just from one person to the next, just so effectively, keeping that pressure constantly. Now, these survivors could have... There were opportunities for them to come back around and heal up and get together, but they just kept, I think, being a little too greedy, trying to just pressure out gens, and it just doesn't work that way, unfortunately, with the Twins.
It's a shock that nobody healed. That Victor got too much value. I think that was the downfall.
Couple of heals. There were a couple of heals, but I think just not enough. I think they got like 1 or 2 heals off, and then somebody else was still injured and running around, and so that person got downed, and then the next person got hit again. So it was like just a continuous effort. Wow, she got off the shoulder. Oh no. Could she actually get away and maybe sneak away from this? Maybe? Possibly?
What would the value of that be, though? She doesn't want to die to
exit gates, I guess. I don't know.
Right.
Possible.
But what she should have done was ran back to the dead zone where the door was,
right,
and forced it down. Because if you did that, then you wouldn't give the point for entity eating you, and you wouldn't give a hook. But she's giving a hook now because she didn't run back to where she had strategically placed herself in the first place to avoid the hook. Now she's going to get hooked and die for it.
I don't think there was much there she could have done, honestly. It was sort of a last-ditch thing that she got off the hook, obviously. But, I mean, maybe if she had had Iron Will and been a blendette like me, I would have found somewhere to hide really quick and then disappeared from existence. But it didn't quite work out that way. And does die on hook, unfortunately. A nearly 12-hook game. Not quite. 11 hooks. And the build was, for the killer, Pop Goes the Weasel, Hex Ruin, Corrupt Intervention, and Tinkerer. With the Forest Stew, which increases Victor's speed, and slightly decreased the Pounce with a Stale Biscuit. Oh, the cooldown of the Pounce. So there you go. There you go.
Running Tinker is interesting. Definitely, because Victor also doesn't have a terror radius, and he did a lot of pressure with Victor. So he did good. I think the survivors didn't play. Did a survivor not bring an item?
I'm not actually sure. I think they did. I'm pretty sure I saw one in the lobby. It might have just maybe been dropped or something, or I don't know.
Yeah, if they drop it, it would show that they didn't bring anything.
Oh, I see.
Right.
Okay. A lot of unbreakables here. You have Spine Chill, which is an interesting pick for sure. Good against stealth killers, I think. Maybe a counter pick to someone like Pig.
I think I know what this is for, but Rue is giving me a thumbs up, and I nod if this thumbs up is for the score being done, Rue. Yeah, okay. So I guess we'll go to the post game and we'll do a quick post game review. We'll be right back for trial number 4. Thank you all for watching. Hang in there. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, and other, we are watching Week 4 matchup conference rivals, Death by Pallets versus Port Mafia. And this was trial number 3. You're watching Vigo's Court, and this is your post-game review. Here is what you witnessed. You saw 2 generators getting done this game. A devastating game for these survivors with no escapes, of course. The killer got everything. She got a whole bunch of hooks, 11 hooks, and a hatch kick. Just a devastating game. 4 kills. Fantastic play all around. Here is the score for this one. 5-28 in favor of Port Mafia. Port Mafia pulling it ahead, but Death by Pallets could come out and do the same thing. However, Port Mafia currently leading going into trial number 4. We'll see how they do in just a few moments. However, while we wait for that, here are your highlights from what that game just was with that Twins. That was a fun game. Here you go, guys.
So one thing, just to point out, I don't think they actually brought an item.
Yeah.
I think they straight up didn't bring an item. It always shows, even if you drop it, what you brought into the game. So I think they just forgot to bring an item. Which, if that's the case, that was a toolkit, but that wouldn't have helped them out with the healing. So yeah, this Twins was cracked. I'm just gonna say it simply. Every time I've seen Twins this far in the league, it is insane. And I'm wondering if it's, I think you guys touched on it briefly. I'm wondering if it's just because Twins is new and there's just not that many people running it in competitive environments. If teams just don't know how to adapt yet to a Twins. I don't know. I don't play Twins. I do not know that. Tide, help. I don't play Twins.
I know. Well, look. Twins is a killer who capitalizes like Spirit, but at a far lesser rate. And you saw that at the beginning. Victor missed about 3-4 times and got kicked in the face. The survivors not doing generators, I can't explain. I don't know what happened. They didn't do it. 5 generators 4 minutes in is a failure on the survivors. Twins was pressuring 1 person at a time, at most. What was everyone else doing? I can't tell you. I wish I saw it. I wish I could break that down a little better. Twins got value. Twins did well. But definitely, I saw a lot of mistakes on the Twins side, and the survivors capitalized on. But I also saw more mistakes on the survivors side. The no healing. Everyone constantly getting down by Victor. Nobody was prepped for it. And
it might have been a lack of prep, yeah. Because, yeah, they didn't really reset hardly at all. I didn't see a lot of counterplay to it. And again, if they weren't doing gens, it's probably because of a lack of callouts, maybe? Saying, oh, they're over here, like, oh, Charlotte's back up, or, all these different callouts. Maybe they're just not practiced with these specific callouts, I guess. I don't know.
There was a moment a survivor got completely caught off guard on a generator against Victor. They didn't hear him snarling up. It didn't move until he pounced. And he pounced point blank, and it was, I don't know. Are they exhausted? It could be any. But to be honest, I think the Twins played pretty well.
There was some great lunges. This lunge right here from Victor was cracked.
Right. I think.
Oh my word.
I think that was one of the most impressive long jumps I've seen.
Yeah.
They did good jumping over pallets as well, but Fang also counterplayed that herself. Did well, dodged it, went back through the pallet, wasted enough time, whole bunch of stuff. But then, you just had moments where everyone was just injured, and nobody was sticking together, nobody was kicking Victor, and every time Victor took somebody out, you had someone waste time to go for a save, you had somebody get picked back up, go on a hook, and then you had nobody working on generators. And 5 generators 4 minutes in is a reflection on the survivors. And I hope that Twins isn't even a pressure character. They don't pressure generators as hard as someone as Dr. Hillbilly, Blight even. But, they made it work. They got value out of this killer, and that's good for the killer. Let's see if the other team can bring it back.
I think it is entirely within the realm of possibility, I would say, for the other team to bring it back. I will, however, talk about the Fang, because the shack loop, I believe it was, when they dropped the pallet. This is why I think the killer was cracked, because they knew that if you miss it, Victor's going to get kicked. And so they made Victor, have that exhaustion period on top of the pallet. But if you stay up there and come back, Victor, dies just because you're on a reachable spot. But they came off the pallet in time for them to miss that, so they couldn't kick Victor for missing. But Victor didn't disappear because it was still on valid territory. That's something I would think of.
It was a good play.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it didn't pay off because Fang still got away. Fang jumped back
Fang
over the pallet and then didn't prep for the jump over. But see, and this is why Twins isn't that good. All those mistakes should have accumulated to something for the survivors, and it didn't. Nothing came from the survivors off that. And that was a really good chase and a really good getaway. And then Fang never healed. Fang would go down later to Victor. And then you got a whole bunch of people just constantly going down to Victor. If you remain healed, Victor's not going to wipe your team. He'll jump on one, he'll injure them, and then Charlotte's just your standard M1 killer. And if you could play against Wraith, you can play against Charlotte.
Sure, and I think it would be interesting to ask them in the cross-examination because different teams, most of them have been like, yeah, we don't play against Twins very often, so we just didn't really, we didn't have plans for it. So I'm beginning to wonder if we're going to have this, if teams are really going to have to start practicing Twins, contact reality, contact, real zappies and say, hey, you play Twins, right? Help us out, please. We need some Twins practice. Because, again, that is the third time we've seen Twins, and as a 4-guy. Oh, and we are going into the final trial. Please roll the last rules video, please.
Hello, everyone. We're going to be going over these rules and explaining how they work. So, 2 teams will go head-to-head, playing each role twice for a total of 4 trials. In play order is home team kills, survives, and then kills. In addition, teams get points in the trial for objectives, escapes, and hooks. And teams can't bring or use keys, iridescents, event items, or add-ons. Survivors can only bring 2 of a perk or item. Survivors can only bring yellow and brown items, and BP bonuses are awarded post-trial. Broken rules may result in penalties or restarts. Okay, a lot of fire in the production chat tonight. Week 4 matchup, conference rivals versus Death by Pallets. I'm sorry, you guys got me all screwed up. Death by Pallets versus Port Mafia. Fuck me. All right, we're loading in now to the game. Guys, I hope you're enjoying tonight. Thank you so much for hanging out. It is I believe it's a Thursday today. And tomorrow is Friday. We have another doubleheader for you starting at the same time we started tonight, 7 p.m. and I believe 10 p.m. as well. And we are here now with the Survivor Squad, Port Mafia, and a Spirit coming out deadly, hopefully. Dre today did such a great job with the... Oh, it's no bueno. No bueno. We are locked in. I can't even change characters. I think somebody's disconnecting. Uh-oh. This could be a problem.
That's a shame.
I know.
Spirit's got some strength there too.
I know. I wanted to see it. We're just kind of stuck here, and I know it's not my internet because you guys are still here. So. Well, I guess we could talk about how those bandages are looking mighty sexy. I like that skin on the Spirit.
So I wonder what the glitch is here. Are the survivors moving around and able to actually... No? Okay, there it goes. There
I can't even get back in.
Holy.
Yep. Whoops. There it is. They may or may not still be in game. I don't know what's going on. I'm going to sit here a minute, see if the blood points go back up or something. I think everybody disconnected. I'm pretty sure everyone disconnected. Though I cannot confirm. So for now, I guess we can go back to talking about the other games.
I think you're good to move on. I think you're good to move on.
Guys, gentlemen.
Hi.
What are my gentlemen callers?
This game is perfect. It has no bugs. Don't at me.
Well, depending on what happened, it's not Tuesday, so.
That's a very good question.
Thursday.
It's Thursday, isn't it? Is it Thursday?
I forget my days. Every day's a day for me. Except for Tuesday. That's Steam reset. It happens every time. I'm enjoying myself. and out of the blue, about to get my 4K, and then I've disconnected from my match. Every time. Without
It's a good feeling. It's a great feeling.
So I think possibly, maybe Sam could look into this and try to get their attention. I think they might still be playing without us because I think somehow I was disconnected from their server or something on load. I'm not really sure what happened.
They may not know.
Zappy says DVD just crashed.
Ah, the whole thing just crashed. Okay. Unless he was saying, unless that was a question.
Yeah, but I say they weren't in the game, so I do not know.
Can anyone get back in the game is the current question.
Yeah, we need to go hold of Death by Pallets and Port Mafia and see.
Yeah, they're going to have to restart because we can't judge the game otherwise. How are we going to be toxic if we can't see the game?
That's a very good question. That's a very good question.
Well, I think Sam's working on it right now, so we'll just have to wait as we just continue to look at some of these amazing clips from this hack game because I just like watching hack games. This is fantastic plays that we saw.
Okay, seriously,
Overall,
I think play of the match was the Victor lunge though.
Yeah, oh, for sure. Overall, I was gonna say though, this build, I don't love it, but she still did really well, even so. But I definitely prefer to run like a hit and run style build with the hag, kind of like what you were talking about, Tide.
I think what she was going for was because of the 3-gen setup. She ran Ruin though, right?
Yes, I think so. Ruin, Surge. What was the other one?
Surge,
I can't remember.
I don't believe Surge effects already affected generators, does it?
It explodes 8%.
Regardless if it's already regressing?
Yep.
Okay, so there was still some value in there. That's better than the Pop Goes the Weasel issue with the combination of Ruin and Pop Goes the Weasel. You can't Pop Goes the Weasel if you got Ruin. But if Surge works well, that's a good combination to have, especially when you're defending a generator. It's interesting to see Ruin and Undying working often, especially in the Twins game. It's just not.
Actually,
they have started coming out.
That's actually a really good point. I didn't think about touching on that. Ruin was left up forever that match, and that might have been a huge part of the downfall there.
Well, see, none of these chases are value. Like sometimes the value of the chase, like back when the pig got Bloodlust, when a killer gets Bloodlust, your chase was very valuable. That's what you want. You want to be Bloodlusted because it's showing how much time of the killers you're wasting. I believe it's 45 seconds to get Bloodlust. Is huge.
Is it 45 seconds or 50?
It's either
30 seconds.
It's 30 or 45. And 45.
Yeah.
But that step is just a good representation. And if you don't get hit until Bloodlust, then of course they have to get Bloodlust again. So if you do the double Bloodlust, it's just a really good sign you're doing well. Of course, you can't tell if they have Bloodlust, but as a killer, you can tell you're doing your chase is a little too long if the Bloodlust is happening. Another thing, trying to go for the grab here. Quentin going down immediately on that hook. Again, it was a trade, but were they making a valuable play off that trade? You know, I wouldn't know, unfortunately, depending on. And then they still had Nia down nearby, and they picked her up luckily. But there's too many resources being used, not focusing on their victory. And especially with the Twins game, one of the big things you saw. 4 minutes in, not a single generator. And it doesn't matter if Ruin's up. Ruin doesn't slow you down. If you're working on a generator, you get it done. But they weren't. And they were getting slapped hard. Victor was eating everyone's ankles. Normally you see survivors break ankles. Unfortunately, Victor broke their ankles.
So, slightly on topic, slightly off topic. What is your feelings on Bloodlust as a mechanic? We had that Bloodlust weekend.
It's needed.
You think it's needed?
It's absolutely needed.
Tiers
1 million.
well?
Yeah, absolutely.
Really? Okay.
Infinites exist without it. So yes, absolutely, 1,000,000%.
But that begs the question: what you're saying, is it good to stay on a survivor to the point that you've gotten Bloodlust?
Sometimes you have to. You have to. It's not a It's not like if you left a survivor after you got Bloodlust, then you messed up because Bloodlust is there to secure that chase. But if your assault as a survivor is there, You could loop the killer for a tier 3 Bloodlust easy, and you can reset their Bloodlust by a single pallet drop. Bloodlust is there to counter infinites. That's why it was brought in. And if people think it doesn't need to exist, well, they removed it, and guess what they brought back a week later. I laughed so hard when that test came out because I didn't have to test that. That was too obvious. The maps are not designed well enough to play without Bloodlust. And survivors they have so many tools for second chances that waste the killer's time. They can stun the killer. They can outrun the killer for a short bit. They can force a killer whiff with dead hard, assure they get to a pallet. And then sometimes these pallets are just so safe, either the killer has to break them, or if they have Bloodlust, sometimes they can reach around the corner just a bit more. So, like, is it needed in the game? Absolutely. And if you think you're a killer so good that you never use Bloodlust, if I ever see Bloodlust come up on your screen, and you're streaming, and you're like, it doesn't need, then you needed Bloodlust, I'm sorry. If it ever comes up, you needed it.
I was about to say, it's funny you say that because I don't remember the last time I actually had to use Bloodlust. I've Bloodlusted people for the memes, but that's about it that I can remember.
Right,
Also,
you don't need, like, it's not necessity to win. But yes, there are absolutely infinites that can happen in certain maps. They've been restructuring some of these maps to stop it, but they exist.
Gotten better with the infinites. It's not nearly as atrocious as it was, like, say, 2 years ago, but...
Oh, no.
Yeah,
when the game came out, that was the worst it could be.
When the game came out, the game was not supposed to be played for killer. That's...
Tell that to me and all the other killers that jumped in this game to play killer.
I know, but you know what I mean. The devs didn't intend for you to play. They're like, oh, you want to play killer? Just, have fun with the survivors. You're their friend. You're not supposed to kill them. It's fine.
Yeah.
That was the thing. Moris were balanced back in the day.
Yes, absolutely. But then they also had brand new parts back in the day that just insta-fixed a generator.
Ugh.
I remember finishing a game on a Myers. And generators were actually 70 seconds back then, too. So they're 10 seconds shorter each. So you would just pop one generator together, then everyone just runs to a different generator and pops them all at once.
And let's hope this time, now that we're finally back into Trial 4, that we actually stay in Trial 4. So hopefully they didn't get too far along where they were like really upset that they have to reset, but it's very similar to last time. She's immediately kicking the door, which I see that a lot, obviously. Very smart to do that.
Did she catch a survivor? Is she already making a move? She moved in a direction.
So.
Yeah, she did. She saw Nia.
Nia headed toward the shack right now. May actually make this window loop, but is going to wait patiently to see what the killer does. Oh, she uses a phase to show up right on top of her. Nia struggling a little bit, but Spirit got a little sidetracked as well, and Nia's going to have to play through this wall. How's she going to do? She goes down quickly, unfortunately. Oh. I was hoping she could at least make it to the pallet. But not quite.
No, that phase was gonna protect her quite well. Unfortunately, she's not causing the spirit to use too much phase, so she's able to regain it pretty quickly and then phase again after the hit. But they got a generator done.
Yeah, exactly.
By first hook. That's important. It's important to note that.
Yes.
Ruin is infect, and this team got the generator done. That's something we didn't see last game.
One thing I see a lot, and this is something I've come to kind of figure out over time, is that you kind of want to have 1-for-1 gen to hook ratio right up until like the second or third gen going down. And then after that,
absolutely,
you usually start to see the killer get snowball or something like that. But up to that point, it's pretty even, and it can be anybody's game. Now, we're kind of seeing the same thing happen here, where perhaps another generator is going to get done soon, but she's starting to apply some pressure. Let's see how they do. Finding Quentin now by the tractor things, who is going to take a hit, not quite making it to the pallet. And Quentin waiting by another pallet, and then leaves.
Ooh, Spirit phased for that. Short phase, but she phased. And she phased again and missed. See, Quentin's playing it. Yeah,
she almost had it, but Quentin is playing it really well. He's kind of mind gaming her quite a bit.
This was something we were talking about the other day with the spirit. It's you gotta play into that the spirit can't see, and you have to walk back on yourself and make her guess which direction you took off. Spread your scratch marks, get it out there, and hope she can't hear which direction you've gone.
But unfortunately, Quentin does go down, and we also see the survivors about to finish yet another gen. So it's actually about to be 3 gens to 2 hooks, which may put the survivors ahead. Just enough. Maybe. Or did they come off that generator? I think they might have come off of it.
Well, so far they're 1-1. They just have to keep this momentum. One person on a gen, one person making a save, one person in chase. It's the momentum that they can keep to the very end. They found Ruin, went down, but now that they have the knowledge of where Ruin's at, they have to make the decision. Is it really worth breaking now? Or should we get generators? And if they do get the generators, did they set up the trifecta away from Hex Ruin? That way, then they can break the Ruin later so that they can work within a trifecta.
Right, and we saw another gen pop for another hook. So again, still 1 for 1. 2 hooks, though, on Zurin. Zurin will be on Death Hook after this unhook. But they're still working on generators, and Claudette was in a chase. However, she got abandoned. I think she's going back for the hook to pressure it. Quite possibly. Or maybe not. Maybe I'm a liar. Let's see. No, she is going for Zurin again. She did find Zurin, who was not in a good place. And that might actually be a Death Hook. She's leaving her on the ground, though, possibly fearing for decisive.
It seems that Spirit's putting emphasis on her totem. She doesn't want it gone. But if the survivors don't give the totem attention, she might be wasting her own time.
Right. And I don't know if this is normal, but I was seeing like the exposed status appear repeatedly over on the right-hand side. But anyway, we see them getting another gen done and yet another hook. So 1 for 1 still on the hooks, which at this point, the Spirit is going to have to start snowballing. She needs to start getting more downs. She does get Clay down, though, who was working on her totem, I believe.
I believe that was a deliverance.
That was a deliverance. And Zurin does also get down. So 2-man slug for the moment. This is the snowball I was talking about. And I think it's exactly what she wanted.
Just got to be careful of that unbreakable. Oh, they're together. That's even worse. So they're exposed. How did they get exposed? Is that Hex Haunted Ground?
Devour Hope. They got 3 stacks of Devour Hope now.
Goodness gracious.
And that's first hook for Clay. They're going to have to get that Devour Hope out of the game quickly.
Well, they did destroy the totem, and it wasn't Devour Hope. So now they either have to play injured permanently and just get that... it's 1 more gen. All they have to do is get 1 person out.
So Zurin's dead on hook. Clay is still on the hook, but on first hook. So they have time. They can go and scour and get Devour Hope out of the map. But they don't do that. They were working on a gen instead and injured, and he's probably going to go down right here, but he does a dead hard forward. She's not falling for any baits, waits it out patiently, and gets Quentin down. But she may actually be going for a 4-man slug here as well. I think Matty Bops is looking for Devour Hope. Maybe.
It's not valuable to chase down at this time. Devour Hope's already got it. They just needed to get the last generator done and try to get 1 person out. But now that this setup has happened, it seems like
this is GG. This is GG for Port Mafia. But what's so interesting is that Port Mafia is pretty far ahead. Do you think this is enough score for them to pull it ahead of Port Mafia? Death by Pallets is about 20 points behind. I don't know if this is going to be enough.
No, because they got down to the last generator. I don't think... Did they do that against Twins? I don't think so. And, well, there's... Survivor died on second hook. Oof.
Yeah, she was hooked once, and
then
I believe,
died.
She progressed to third. Wow. So
she fed into that Devour Hope really well. Played the late game nicely.
Fantastic. That's exactly the snowball she was looking for too with that, and just did it so well. The blood points may be enough to pull it ahead. I don't know. I don't think it's going to be enough. I'm looking at the score, and I just don't think it's going to be enough. I think Death by Pallets is going to fall short of taking the lead. I think Port Mafia takes this one. I think the problem is she just didn't get enough hooks. Yeah, just not enough hooks. Too many progressions. See, from my point of view, and this is just me, I would have been trying to slow down a little bit as the killer at this point. Once I saw that I was getting so many downs and everything, I would have been deliberately playing slightly worse to let them sort of recover. Not fully recover, but just sort of bring it back a touch so that I can get a couple more hooks, because knowing how far behind you are from the other team, you need those points, and she just didn't get enough hook points. I don't think we're going to see it. No, I think that's the final score. Yeah, I'm getting the word from Rugard that is the final score, 52-62. Oh. So we saw Hex Ruin, Devour Hope, Corrupt Intervention, and Pop Goes the Weasel. We'll look a little bit more at that in the post-game review. But, oh man, for now, let's do our match review, and we'll be back. Sam, maybe you're going to say something? Was that you? No? Was that? Okay, maybe that was Ty doing stuff. All right, we'll be back in just a second. Okay, and here you go, folks. This is your post-game review. We just saw a Week 4 matchup, conference rivals Death by Pallets versus Port Mafia, and a fantastic game all around. Lots of really great killer games. Really struggling on the survivor side for these teams, but their killer games were really strong. However, we did see 4 gens getting done in this trial, with a total of 0 escapes, nobody even getting out by hatch. Sad face panda. 8 hooks by the killer. A few more hooks might have pulled them ahead, but 4 kills, not bad all around. And that makes it 52-62, yeah, in favor of Port Mafia, and Port Mafia is going to be convicted of murder. So well done, Port Mafia. Congratulations. We're going to do some post-game highlights, try to get some post-game reviews, or interviews, cross-examinations, all that stuff. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Oh, where to start? I feel bad for Clay, because we talked about this. He's going to be facing a lot of spirits this season. Because, you know, Spirit's good. Port Mafia is considered one of the teams to beat, so they're probably going to see a lot of Spirits. I know they hate them, but you know, they're going to have to eat it. This was a match of the killers. I think every single match tonight resulted in a 4K. So it came down to how much the killers milked the hooks. And what we saw from the Spirit game is, I think you've touched it, Poggy, they didn't milk the hooks nearly as much towards the end. A lot of progressions. I think 4 total progressions, which only would have given them about 8 or 9 more points. What they really needed to do was they needed to hold the survivors to 3 gens left and make sure they get the rest of those hooks if possible. And it was very close. It was a slaughter. This was definitely a lot of murder going on this time around. Which again, as a killer main, I enjoyed all of it. I love seeing survivors get roasted and die. So I don't know about you. And it looks like we've got Casper of Death by Pallets here.
Yes, what's up, guys? How's it going?
Hey, doing pretty well. So you guys had a lot of killer action going on.
Yeah, that's our new killer, Dre, today. We played him last week and we played him this week, but next week we're going to be switching both killers back and forth between Dre Get Face Camp and Dre today. I think you guys weren't aware of it, but they're 2 different.
Okay. Makes sense. So Dre today is a bit newer to the league then, right?
Yeah, he's newer to the Death by Pallets team. I picked him up, I think, the week after Siphon, the day, like a day or 2 after Siphon. I think he did exceptionally well. Both like last week and this week, he adapted very well to all games. Survivor side, I'm a little more disappointed. They put in their best work. They did the best they could. But there was a few points I was kind of sad in watching that, because especially because there's things that I'm always getting on the most. Like Hex Totem, Hex Ruin against certain killers is just a no-go. Freddy, Legion, Twins, you know, anybody that could fucking apply decent pressure around the map. is usually a no-go with the rune. You want to get that out as fast as possible, and I kind of didn't see that. And that kind of hurt me a little bit on the inside. And then that paladin, that gen in the middle, like nobody working on it, everybody on the outer gens, like, oh wow, I was just like disappointed in a few aspects, but I think that they all did very well. They're all coming a long way, and they're all doing the best they can. I kind of wish I would have played in this game, but I kind of wanted to see what they could do themselves. They didn't do bad, but they could have did better.
For sure. And I think we've asked this a couple times, have you guys practiced that much against twins? Because it's not a common color.
No, I really don't like facing twins because in my personal opinion, I think in the right hand, she just has too much in the right hand. And it can cause a very fast snowball, especially if you're not healing up, like you guys were saying a lot. Like, Twins is a character that I would be running self-care. I know people would talk shit about self-care, blah, blah, blah. But some killers, you just don't want to give them that snowball opportunity, and self-care kind of that's what people don't like about self-care. But yeah, like, I would have probably went into that match myself and been like, fuck, I don't have self-care. You know? But yeah, no, we probably need to practice against twins more. Definitely do.
Yeah, I think that was what they ended up talking about the most, was there was a lot of times just like 2-3 people were injured at any given time against twins, and that's just Victor goes to town and just mops everything up. So yeah, I imagine real Zappies and reality are going to be getting some phone calls saying, hey, can we play against your guys as twins?
Not bad twin players at all. They know how to apply that pressure around the map, and it really works out for them.
All right, well, I see we have, who's that in the lobby? We got Clay in the lobby. If you want to stick around, Casper, and we'll have you talk in just a moment. We'll get interview Clay. Clay, you there?
Hello.
I felt bad because you faced Spirit last week, and you faced it again, but your guys are Port Mafia. Your guys are going to face a lot of Spirits because you're one of the teams to beat, so sorry.
That's not bothering us. No, there's no. We literally we learned from Deity's mistakes, and our first thought in the last game was lose. Just lose quickly, and you don't get enough points. We're not trying to win by high margins. We're not making a statement for anybody. We brought two real burner killers just because we knew like it was just going to be another like easy weekend for us. Not saying in a toxic way, but just saying like we could burn 2 killers or whatever. We always expect these killers, but we're gonna save the better killers for the CDMs, the flops, the deities and stuff. So we already knew what we were doing. We see a spirit and we just knew we were gonna lose, so we just lost quick.
So Twins is burner in your opinion then?
Twins is really good, but against a team that resets and plays well, you don't know. It's kind of 50-50. We haven't seen her in enough competition to know if she's that viable, but she was kind of a burner.
I could feel that. She's only what, 2.5 months old to the meta, so a lot to be determined. And again, she's not a straightforward killer in any capacity, so fair enough. So I guess going forward, do you guys see anything from this match that you want to practice up on? You're gonna, alter, mess around with going forward as a group?
Oh, we have to work, like just get chemistry, because we have 2 new players, or 3 new players. We have Ninny as a killer, Maddie, in reality, and they're amazing people, but haven't been playing long, so we just need chemistry. Our weakness was we didn't have the killers, and our survivors were the powerhouse, and now we're just gonna get both. Just need the chemistry.
Fair enough. I will say, so the Hag game seemed a bit more of a struggle, because I've seen you guys playing against Hag before, and it's not usually a struggle, but Hag gave you guys a bit of a run this time around. Was there something different in play?
We forgot to bring a flash. We weren't paying attention, honest to God.
Oh, okay.
Like, some people went to the bathroom, we were just all came back, are we ready? We're ready. And we're like, oh shit, it's a Hag. It feels bad. And we just like lost, I don't know.
Fair enough. Fair enough. And with that, Ty, you got any questions for anybody?
Nope.
All right. Well, with that, do you guys have any thing you want to say to each other?
Good luck next week.
Casper, you are muted, by the way.
Good luck.
Yeah, there was a lot of BM against us, the Hag game. I don't know, it doesn't really affect us, but I feel like that's not the thing to be worrying about as a team like that. But I don't know. It was fun, and GG's.
I don't know if Casper knows that they're unmuted, but I guess with that said, do you guys have anything you want to say to chat?
I love you all. Revert DBD movement. This was really painful to play tonight, and hopefully I don't have to do it next week.
Do you think
I'll catch y'all next time around and keep watching Vigos.
Word. Also, do you really think that we'll have another patch in by next week? I'm genuinely curious what people think.
It's gonna be a hot patch.
Doubt it, but hoping.
Some of the hits we were getting hit by, actually, like we wanted to record it and just show it, like the spirit, like even the spirit game, like she'd be so far and we'd just fall down, and I don't know. It just like,
actually,
want to play.
There was one hit with the spirit where she was around the killer's shack, I believe, and she swung, and I'm like, no way that hits. No fucking way that hits. And the person went down, and I was like, what? What?
Sam, I think I said this last week. The devs don't know how to balance their game, dude.
Oh, I mean, that's no secret to anybody here. I don't. If anybody just learned that the devs don't know how to balance their game, let's see like an oof emote in the chat.
Mood. Oh man. Well.
Yeah. I also like to give one more shout out to Reality, because he's played the last 2 weeks. He's brought in a killer that like 3 killers that have been like burners or mid-tier killers, and he's played extremely well. So I just wanted to shout him out. And that's it. Thank you.
All right. I just actually hold on. Did we ever announce this? We have emotes in chat now?
We have emotes and sub badges, yes.
Oh my goodness, I didn't even see that we had the emotes. Oh, that's so great. I love it. All right, sorry. Anyway, diatribe. Well, anyway, everybody, that was Port Mafia versus Death by Pallets. Port Mafia coming out on top with a 10-point lead in the end. You were watching Vigo's Court. I have been your Judge LaRugard, joined by Judge Tide and Counselor Poggy. We have another. Is it a doubleheader tomorrow? I believe it's another doubleheader, 7 and 10.
Yep,
is that correct?
7 and 10.
Correct.
Same as today.
We got a doubleheader tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You don't want to miss it. I have had a fantastic time with you guys. Thanks for hanging out. Again, you are watching Vigo's Court. We will see you tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern. Have a great evening.
So before the first gen even pops,
It'll make you wanna call my name.
trying to bait out a hit there, but not able to get it. Freaky's AT able to get away. That was a missed decisive strike. And that is an insta-down.
It doesn't matter what I said, guys. Poggy's here. Poggy's going to be doing some commentary.